going, but you also have to be a good listener. You got to let them get in there. There's some people that do a show, I won't mention who they are, but they do a show and they just and the guests are going, it's almost like that skit on Saturday Night Live, and that guy goes, you know, the black guy does that show and he goes, what's going on now? And he does all his talking, he doesn't let the guests talk, you know? You gotta let them talk, because the people are tuning in to hear what they have to say. So that's a key thing to remember when you're starting a show. Let them get their plugs in and stuff. That's
very
really
good,
important.
James. Very good. All right, so let's go through the rest of the panel and see what makes the show great, and then also more bio information if you like. Yeah, Farrell Hirsch.
Because I got the simplest, shortest answer in contrast to what James just did. What makes a great radio show? If I had one thing, it would be Ginger. And that's the short answer, but the longer answer is, Ginger and I worked together for years. This is a woman who, I mean, she was born with this talent to be engaging and make people love her, and that comes out. She shows up prepared, over-prepared in a good way, ready. Every day she'd be reeling a box of stuff through the hallways, true story, with folders and files and games she could play, and in order to tell you what's great, I'm going to tell you how you can screw it up. Don't prepare. Don't be ready for it. Don't think of it as a job. It's a job. It's like everything else in the world. If you want to be great, prepare. You got to have the talent. Everybody here was born with the talent, and I haven't worked with everybody here, but I can tell you this. When Ginger came in to do a show, she was there an hour and a half before the show. She was sitting down with her producer, and we had great producers, but she would be writing stuff out, mapping out a show. She knew it sounded to you improvisational. But I promise you, it was so well thought out and so planned, and that's the most boring answer you're going to hear. But plan it out, know what you're doing, and that greatness comes from preparation.
Ginger, what makes the show great?
And you can't say me, because I say you.
Let me rephrase this another way, because you're doing a different show every day. You're doing 5 shows a week, I believe.
Yes.
How do you know when you're on fire and when you got something going on versus this is just a regular show?
You know, I think what makes it real and good for me is that I'm honest. I go in, I'm myself, I speak to my audience, I speak to my listeners, I speak to my as James was saying, to my callers in. But what I do is every single day, I've got every website that has to do with sex and sexuality and porn, and I have all of these. I get up in the morning and I'll have 1,000 now, I'll have 100 emails about, you know, easy online or just all these different things. And so I accumulate different information from the different people and from the different websites that I find, and I find myself within that. One of the way I got into radio was I was on a radio show as a guest, and the host of the show was doing the show, and I said, I could do this better than you. And the producer had heard the show, and he called me up and said, we'll give you 1 day a week, let's see what you've got. And I did that. Farrell heard me, and I became a regular substitute on Playboy Radio. And what I bring to it is me. I am me all day long. If I think you're an asshole, I'm going to tell you an asshole. If I think that you've got a good point, I engage my audience, I engage my listeners, I engage everyone that's there, and I am prepared. And more than anything, I love what I do. I love your questions. I love what you want to know. I love when you ask me about my past, my listeners, my audience, my guests. I love the interaction. I love to know who you are, and I love to share who you are with me, and I'm honest about it. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to tell you this is that and that's that. I'm not going to make up a story. I'm going to tell you the real stories, the real way it is, and I love what I do. I love being able to share my experience with everybody out there and find out what yours is and share that and get to know you. So I just think that honesty, when it comes down to it, is the basis for a good radio show.
For many years I would go on her show and she would call me an asshole. I can vouch for this.
Right to his face.
Right to my face, yeah. Sometimes he would hang up on me.
I should point out that in those days, that station had about 7 million listeners a week.
Wow. Yeah.
So
a lot of people
everybody
knew
knew
that
that Glenn was in.
Lex, you cover a lot of diverse topics, probably as diverse as anybody in the group. How do you know when you've got one that resonates with your audience?
Well, typically with, I have 3 shows, much like I'm working up to 5. So I have 3, so I broadcast Monday night with the Lex and Seal live show, which is on latalkradio.com. Tuesday night is 4th and Goal Sports Talk on Chocolate Radio, which can be accessed by way of Ustream or Live 365. And Thursday night I just launched the Man Cave live show about a month ago, once again on latalkradio.com. You know, as far as subject matter that I know resonates with the listeners, it's almost like I'll spend a whole day, you know, watching CNN or MSNBC or Headline News, Fox, you name it, and I'll come up with what are the hottest topics. Now that's what I do with Man Cave, because it's more of a barbershop type of forum discussion where we have at least 4 people in studio, so you have a pretty much a debate type of show. The sports show is different because, you know, not a lot of people, you know, are you know, versed enough in sport that they can actually call in and be actually contributory to the conversation. So that can become difficult. But the challenge is that when I stray away from XXX, so like with Lex Still Live, my guests are 100% adult industry oriented. So there's a point of familiarity with the listenership and the viewership. The sports show and the Man Cave show are challenges, and so that's what I like, is something not only just a subject matter that might be challenging, but the challenge of going outside what someone would expect you to be working within. Like when I do Lex Live, the people know me as Lex and Seal, of course, and it's a adult media oriented, you know, type of guest show. My other shows have nothing to do with sex, and that is a challenge to me, or for me, to expand my brand outside of XXX. You know, and the thing is people need to know that there are many things that we do as people in this industry that are outside of the XXX industry, and this gives us a platform to reach our fan base and expand. And I will say that I was personally on Mr. Bartolet's show a number of years ago, back in 2012, and then he showed me that, hey, perhaps I might want to look into starting my own. I started with a radio show called Size Matters, and that became Lex Still Live. And now I got 3 nights a week, brother. Thank you very much.
Love the Size Matters. Also, Akira, your show is also very diverse.
I feel like I don't deserve to be here. Like listening to everyone else. Yeah, so my show is called DVD ASA. It's a podcast. We've only been on for 2 years, so like not even anything close to any of the other panelists. But it's hard because my show is very different. Like we don't. Of course, I'm marketed as a porn star, but our show is not. It's actually not a porn radio show. So we don't. I mean, we talk about porn in the sense that I talk about my life, but it's not. Porn is not the focus. What was the question?
Well, let me ask you this way. Do you take callers on your show?
We don't take callers.
So how do you know?
After everything you guys have said, my show is horrible.
No.
No, I'm telling you, like, we don't do any preparation.
Wait, after everything we've heard, your show's terrific.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it live
No,
streaming?
like, it's not live. We're 3 months behind. We don't talk about current events. We're all horrible people.
Then why are you even on this panel? Get out! Get out!
No, let me tell you exactly why she's on this panel really quickly, because
I'm kidding.
anyone can start a podcast if you have something interesting to say, and you do, and obviously you're resonating with the people that are listening to your podcast, regardless of if you've fallen behind or not, because you're actually getting a lot of listeners.
Yeah,
and it's because of her, because she's so hot.
It's not just me though. Like honestly, I think our audience is not so much the porn fan as it is. We really cater to outcasts. is what it is.
Yeah.
And as a porn star, as a porn star, I definitely know what it's like to be somewhat shunned from society. I know what it's like to be considered an outcast. So that's kind of the crowd that we really cater to. And, you know, yeah, like we don't do any preparation. We, like, sometimes there's 13 of us in a room. And it's like, we all talk over each other and we all have our own drama, and it's a completely different kind of show. And some people like really like it, most people hate it.
All right, so this is very applicable because a lot of people in this room are probably thinking, in fact, let me just take a little quick survey. Who in here is thinking about doing their own podcast or starting up their own adult radio or any kind of radio? There you go.
I have a few, yeah.
You have a show already?
Yeah, I've got 3 shows on Blog Talk Radio.
Aha, okay. So good information as well then. And the question is so you're going out there, you guys are just throwing out random topics and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. How do you know what sticks since you're not taking callers?
It's hard to know what sticks because by the time we get feedback, it's been 3 months and we don't care about what we were talking about. But I do find that our listeners really like us as characters. So I think the biggest response comes when we have some kind of drama on the show. And, you know, do you like not to vibrate?
Shut up!
And, you know, actually before porn, I was on a radio show called Bubba the Love Sponge. Which was also, it was on Howard Stern's network, and it was also very much like that. People liked the characters. They became friends with us. So I think when we had drama, it's kind of like listening to, I don't know, I think it's like the Real Housewives effect, you know? Like you just kind of relate to these, maybe not, but relate to these people and just, I don't know, like they're like your friends. We're like their friends. So I think that's the appeal of my podcast.
You know, Asa, I have to tell you, I watch all the numbers and where everybody's things are, and my latest show for the last couple of years has been on iTunes, and you are always in the top 10 in the sexual category.
Oh, yeah.
People love what you do. I have not listened to your show, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working.
No.
And I have to, like, full disclosure, I don't know why, so we're in the health category. And we did that specifically because it would be easier to rise up to the top 10 in the health category rather than comedy, which is where like we feel we should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are so many comedy podcasts out there. So it's
I'm in
easier
gardening. I'm on
Right,
number
exactly.
one. Yeah.
So I think that if you can get approved in a smaller genre like that, it does help with the numbers. And I mean, numbers are dumb, but it does get people to click on you. So
People love your show.
thank you, Ginger. Thanks
Numbers
so much.
lead me to the next topic over here, which I'm pretty sure everyone wants to know about, is can you make money at this? And the answer is, you know, that really depends upon your numbers. It's sort of a little matrix that advertisers look at and just want to know, well, how many downloads are you getting? And you can go to the advertisers and say, well, I got a brand new way of doing things. This is totally unique. It doesn't matter how many downloads I'm doing or how many unique viewers, and it's just going to come back. They're going to say, yeah, but I just need to know, because this is how we pay people. Is how many downloads are you getting on your podcast? Let me just ask everybody, is there money to be made in the world of adult radio? Starting with James.
Yes, there is. And we're, you know, at LA Talk Radio, and Lex, you'll second that emotion, baby. It's, we got to pay for our time on there. You know, and our time is worth money. So we got to have advertisers. So yes, I've been doing that since day one. Even when I was doing the mainstream radio, I was buying radio time at some station, you know, KIEV or something like that. And it was all based on that. So it's important to have those numbers. So with all due respect, baby, it helps to have the callers in, because that helps. Because those advertisers that you're going to get are going to go, oh, geez, that guy called in from Bendover, Iowa. That guy called in from Pomona. That woman called in from San Diego. Oh, wow, that's great. And then they see your numbers. And nowadays, because of the internet, you can check that Alexa rating. Am I saying that right? Yes. Yeah. You can see those numbers. And then also with the iTunes, you keep track of that. They look for that. And you can get money. Don't short shell yourself and do it for really low, but don't go too high. Don't be crazy. Also, there's a lot of programs. One of our advertisers on Inside the Industry, and we did a live radio show here last night from the convention. And we have Adam and Eve, and they do like a thing that we put a promo code on there, okay? So if people go in there and they buy that stuff, then we're getting a check. So that's another way that you can get revenue coming in. If you do promo codes for people and put those commercials out. With Teddy Love, we're doing a promo code to buy the little teddy bear with the vibrator in it for Valentine's Day. There's a promo code, so they can track it that way. There's a lot of little tricks that you could do. But can you make money? Yes, you can. Look at this, brand new outfit. I just bought it. Money from the radio show. So there you go.
Yeah, let me just point out that you guys in the adult industry, we actually have an advantage over the non-adult industry podcasts in that every big adult company has an affiliate program already set up. You can go join the Bang Bros affiliate program or the Brazzers affiliate program, set up a little website, and then when you do your show, you say, hey, I'm interviewing Asa Akira on the show today. If you want to check out more of her, go to
wickedpictures.com.
But you go to you set up a little affiliate site like maneatershow.meanbitches.com or whatever, which goes to, which has your affiliate link built into it, and then every time somebody signs up, you get paid.
And that's a good way to get started. Then once you get the ball rolling, you've been on for about a year or so, and they see that you're there for a while, they're going to be more likely to turn around and write you a check.
Absolutely, you can sell advertising. Tom, you had a question?
Just quickly, the flip side of the revenue coin, how much does it cost to operate a show? How much does it cost to put out a podcast there? And what's the relationship, the percentage relationship with the platform? With the,
a great question for Ginger.
Can we get some idea of the economics of this?
Yeah.
You know what I've done terrestrial radio, I've done Sirius XM, I've done podcasts, I've done them all, and what I found is that the easiest way to make money today for me in this industry is I do a lot of research, I do a lot of homework. I get XBiz every month, and I go through, and there's every single person that's advertising, every single company that's got a product, every single company that's got a toy, whatever it is, and I call them up. Hi, I'm Ginger Lynn, I've got a podcast. Don't have any numbers for you. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. I'm going to give you this much of a discount. It's normally this much. And I go to these people, I approach them, and I talk to them about what I do and what they can get back from it. And a big, and I have advertisers on a regular basis, but I work my ass off. I work really hard. It doesn't come easy. It's not just, oh, Ginger Lynn, you're going to throw money at me. No, I have to work hard. But another way that I found to generate revenue within the industry right now is every show that I do is videotaped as well. Okay, so you can watch it live. Not many people do. Most people do not watch the show. They download it on iTunes, they listen to it later. So what I did was I started a Ginger Lynn radio, Blame It on Ginger is the name of my site, and what happens is I now have a pay site, so if you want to see what's going on on my show. Now I've got interviews, I've got people that come in, we talk about this, we talk about that, but I start my show off every single day. I don't care who's sitting next to me, whether you have tits or not, I'm going to juggle them. Okay, so I've got your titties juggling, I'm going at it, and Farrell will attest to this. When I started working with Farrell, we had a contract, and it was like this thing, and there were like 3 rules. Okay, I can follow those 3 rules. 3 years later, it's like this thing. And there were all these rules that nobody knew about. They were like, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. Having a podcast, I can do anything that I want to do. And I interact with my guests. And I have between 2 and 10 people in my studio at all times. And I have everybody from John Zuckerman, who was a director he directed Madonna's Ray of Light, Smack My Bitch Up. He did all of these incredible videos, had him on the show, and what I tend to do is I bring in a lot of mainstream normal people, and I get them to talk about their sex lives and their intimate details. And because of the interaction that I have, I developed the website so people can see the video. The only way, you can see it free if you're watching my show live, but how many people are going to sit down? Oh, it's on at 2 o'clock. You want to watch it at your own leisure in your own time. So I've developed a system and a way that you can watch it, see it anytime that you want. You do pay a minimal fee for the access to that, but you can watch my last 500 shows. And with Farrell,